Good morning, welcome to Bent's. We're going to be looking at pruning clematis, which for a lot of people is a very vexed subject. People get quite confused as to what to do with clematis. The basic thing to always remember is, when does the plant flower? So we're standing by some of Raymond Everson's clematis here, Empress and Josephine. Fantastically free flowering, very large flowers. His clematis are typical of the hybrids that start flowering in June. All you need to do at the beginning of the year, when the plant is dormant, is cut it back to a couple of strong buds on each stem, and you're taking them back to about a foot above the ground. It doesn't matter if there's a pair of buds that look particularly good and they're a little bit lower or a little bit higher, doesn't make any difference. Just prune to that strong pair of buds and you will then get strong shoots coming from that, and you'll get this sort of show June, July, August. If your clematis, on the other hand, is one of the late flowering varieties, like say one of the Viticellas, you need to prune that back to a strong pair of leaf buds a lot earlier in the year. So late winter is quite a good time to do it, and that will encourage them to produce strong shoots which will then flower at the end of the summer. Some of the clematis, quite a lot of the species, don't really need any pruning at all. So for example, Montana clematis, which usually flower in about May or June, you don't really need to prune those unless they're starting to take your garden over and you need to control them a little bit. Or alternatively, if you've had them for a long time and you're starting to get a lot of woody stems, one of the ways that you can regenerate them is to take out some of those really old woody stems at the base, and you should encourage new fresh shoots to come from the bottom of the plant, and that will reinvigorate the plant and mean that you get a better crop of flowers. Some of the very early flowering clematis, like for example the alpinas and the macropetalas, they again don't need a lot of pruning, but a little bit of light pruning straight after they've flowered is fine, just to keep them under control. If you prune those at the time of year that you prune, say, your large flowered hybrids, you'd end up with no flowers. Lots of growth, but either very late flowers and very few of them, or none at all. And I have had customers come in and say, why does my Montana clematis, for example, never flower? And when you talk to them, it's that they're pruning it back every single year, and they're basically cutting all the flowering wood off, taking it back to the base every year, and it's producing lots of luxuriant growth but no flowers. So if you're confused about your clematis, just ask yourself, when does it flower? And that should answer the question as when you prune and how you prune. But it's not a complicated thing, that's the only thing you need to bear in mind. And the other thing, of course, is that if you do prune it at the wrong time of year, it's not the end of the world. You haven't killed the plant. The worst that you will have done is you will forego flowers for one season. But next season, if you do the right thing, it'll be back to normal again, it'll be flowering. Okay?